What's going on, everybody? It's the Corner to Corner MCW Pro Roadshow.
Number one edition.
That's right. MCW live from, we are now passing through White Marsh, Maryland. Just having left Joppa, Maryland, celebrating the broken anniversary at MCW. What a show. I was really impressed with what we saw tonight. Guys, of course, it's the triple threat in the house, so myself, Stan Grubb, Rob Hefner.
Yes.
Brian Taylor.
Hello.
And we are live and on the air here on Spreaker.com.
Hey, watch this idiot in front of you there. He's all over the fucking place.
What did you guys think of MCW Pro? Our first viewing of this not a new promotion, but a new to us, new show for us.
Correct.
I was highly impressed.
I enjoyed it. I did.
What did you guys think of some of the talents that we had never seen before, like the Guns for Hire, for example, or the Appalachian Outlaws, or the Hellcats?
I did enjoy that four-corner tag team match. That was pretty good.
I mean, what started off as, you don't know who these guys are, and then you get wrapped up into these matches. The storytelling was well done. I thought Guns for Hire was impressive. They first come out, they look like Alex Riley and Big Cass, but they shut that stuff down real quick as soon as they got in the ring. I was very impressed with the Four Corners match as well. Rob, what did you think of that one?
I liked it. I mean, I thought it was... One thing I liked about the evening was that you could tell they have storylines going on, so they kept the storylines going. And they have that fan base that knows what's going on. The Four Corners match was nice. You had the poor man's Nightwing, and I'm just kidding. But, yeah. The Guns for Hire was a great shot, and we'll see. Now they have to go after the winner of the match tonight.
Spoiler alert.
Right, tonight's main event was the Hardys, TNA World Tag Team Champions, challenging the Entourage.
Yeah.
For the MCW Tag Team Championship. What looked like initially that could have been a double disqualification or maybe a count out. They stopped that real quick. They made the match no DQ, no count out, even though the referee seemed a little confused with that.
Aren't they always, though?
I guess it's just more and more commonplace for the referee just to look like a bum and not know what the hell he's doing. Jeremy Borash was in attendance tonight.
Yeah, I think the speed limit is 55, by the way.
The matchup with the Hardys and the Entourage will be broadcast on Impact Wrestling the last Thursday in February. We saw Melina defend the MCW Championship, Women's Championship, against Brittany Blake. I don't know a whole lot about a lot of these guys on this roster and gals, but Brittany Blake, maybe she's a rookie? What did you think?
There were a couple bad spots, and that was probably the lowest for me as far as enthusiasm. So even seeing Melina,
it just didn't seem like both of them were in it. I mean, they both have talent. Brittany Blake came to the ring with high energy and, got it with the crowd. The crowd got into it. And Melina just came to the ring and it was like, I don't know. It's like they told her, you have 30 seconds to get this match on. She came in and there was no fanfare. Her music was messed up.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
But I haven't heard her music before, so I don't know if that's supposed to happen.
Well, it sounded like her old WWE theme.
Yeah, I mean, it was queued up for the old WWE music, but the way it came off, I mean, they just didn't choose a good cut for the audio. It just didn't sound good.
Yeah, they kept replaying it.
Right. It was almost like just, hurting an already injured cat. It just didn't sound good. But Melina actually looked good. I thought she did well for herself. It's good to see that she's still doing well. Brittany Blake definitely seemed nervous. But yeah, I think it's to be expected, especially with what they confirmed tonight was the record-setting crowd for MCW, the largest crowd they have ever had in attendance for a wrestling show at MCW Pro tonight.
Well, they tout 1,400?
1,400 was a count that I heard going around.
Standing room only.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's talk about the crowd for a minute.
Assholes to elbows.
Oh my God. And then we had people that as soon as you would stand up to leave your seat, now thankfully we made sure our seats were protected, but the people next to us,
We use safe seating techniques. We left them protected.
we had like 4 or 5 people like sitting next to us at different points and times throughout the entire show. Like a group would get up and another group would sit down. A group would get up and another group would sit down. It was crazy. If there's anything that I would recommend, and I know it's got to be difficult to do, but somebody maybe serving the role as an usher, some kind of security method there, because in a lesser environment, if you had more of a rowdy crowd, that could turn ugly real quick.
Yeah, you should come up with a way to number your seating chart.
Right.
I mean,
right.
the tickets were quite professional, so I don't see how you couldn't just add section and seats, so you knew where. Because there were even people that looked like they had front row seats,
right,
that had to be moved because there were already people in the seats.
I really enjoyed seeing how people-friendly this company was. Plenty of staff as far as directing traffic, making sure people got in, got their tickets, professionally done.
But there was nobody in there checking your ticket to make sure you had ringside seats.
Right. There was
Like,
no...
I could have gone and sat ringside, and there's nothing they could have done about it.
Until somebody, I guess, comes up and moves us.
Yeah.
All right, so any more negatives?
Not really.
That was all I got.
The first matchup of the night, the 2 matchups that were social media only for Facebook Live was, gosh, I don't remember the guys' names.
The first match was cool. The second match was like, but
the only thing I would say about the second match is it seemed like they watched the first match and said, well, we could do that. And they just kind of kept going. Match of the night, would you guys say Anthony Henry versus Leo Rush?
Yes, most definitely.
How about that vertebraker that Leo Rush took?
Oh,
I thought for sure he got his neck snapped. That just looked brutal.
yeah, and then he was trying to set him up for one off the top turnbuckle.
Right, and I don't know if that's
Lord
ever
have
been
mercy.
done, but that would be ridiculous. I can't see how that would ever work in anyone's favor.
Yeah, I don't know how that kid is still standing. Because to me it looked like he fell right on his neck. So,
And now we've got Leo Rush and Anthony Henry getting a pretty well a standing ovation at the end of it.
so we're having some difficulty.
y'all keep talking.
Let's see here. Tag Team Championship was the main event. We got an impromptu World Championship match, MCW Championship match, between Drolix and Big Sean Studd. Big Sean Studd, of course, is the son of Big John Studd, apparently. And I did not expect to see a title change there. That was a surprise.
Yeah, for not being televised, there were some dirty, underhanded
Good.
cheat by, I don't know, you call them the
No,
winners? Were they the winners? The winner squad?
So you had the Prophet, which was Jeremiah. You had Big Sean Studd.
You too.
And you had the winner, and I don't remember his name. But he came out in a robe, and they had like evangelical music playing and everything. It was
A wiener.
the winners telling women that they should go back to the kitchen and making fun of the march and everything. Now we are going to go through the Fort McHenry tunnel here. I do not know how strong the signal will last through the tunnel. We will hit record, of course, if it
Going
cuts
to get
out.
bored too.
Uh-oh. I think we're punching the board here. That's not good.
Oh my God, we're gonna die.
I seen daylight. One drop, I'm gone.
I've always been told when you drive through a tunnel, you got to close your eyes. Is that true?
No.
Don't you dare, Rob.
The driver would not want to close his eyes. I was impressed with Drolix. I had never seen him wrestle before. He was pretty good. And
so now I'm assuming Black Wall Street is the name of the group?
yes. The Bruiser was out all night long, just posing with kids, taking pictures, just shaking hands with everybody that came in, which I thought was really cool. I mean, he was definitely one of the most popular people there as far as local guys. Drolix is definitely popular, but Black Wall Street as a group generated a lot of good reaction. The guys they were in the ring with was Martinez and was it Napalm?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
That was actually, Napalm was an impressive looking dude. His partner Martinez, and I don't remember his first name.
He's from ROH.
Yeah, and he has kind of a
Damon Martinez, I think it is.
Damian Martinez?
Demon, I think.
Demon. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Rob, you had a good description for him at first. He kind of wrestled. What did you think his style was?
Kali.
Yeah, he kind of moved like Great Khali, and then as the match progressed, he seemed to really.
He moved not like Great Kali.
Right, that spinning heel kick he did, which was really well done, as a matter of fact. The entire night, the crowd was involved and excited, ready to see just wrestling action. We had, there's a few jerks scattered throughout the crowd. One guy drunk, swinging his daughter around like an idiot, falling all over himself. Another guy was sitting in front of us and just kept chanting for crap from the Attitude Era that didn't make any damn sense. We had folks sitting next to us that actually were pretty cool, making some pretty decent jokes as far as that was concerned. The things that really popped out as far as what was available there, they had a lot of MCW Pro merchandise, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, DVDs. They had a lot of WWE merchandise, like t-shirts.
Decently priced MCW merchandise. Decently priced.
They seem to recognize the market they're in, and they make sure they price accordingly. I think ticket prices for general admission was, what do you guys think?
Cheap.
Yeah, pretty well, I would say so. Brian, would you agree?
Oh yeah, especially for the show.
I would have charged more.
For the amount of people they had there, I wonder, like, let's just say they upped it by $5. I bet you that house would have been.
Well,
it's still been full.
The 5 people standing next to us spent twice that in beer. So
yeah, there was a lot of alcohol flowing through there. And having lived up here for a few years and never, honestly, it's almost embarrassing, but never once taking in an MCW show, I didn't really even know it was that close.
It's because you didn't want to go by yourself. Just a minute, you're scared.
You know what? Going to this arena by myself probably would have been an interesting experience. but
I got to meet Nikolai Volkov.
Yep, and that was pretty cool. And that was only $10.
$10.
Yeah. Brian met Leo Rush, got his autograph. Nice dude. I had one of our typical awkward social moments for me, as Leo Rush is they're in an intermission and wrestlers are filtering out to go sell some merchandise. Leo Rush walks past us, and Rob gets a fist bump, Brian gets a fist bump. I reach over, try to shake his hand, and he reaches over with the opposite hand. So I in the middle, decide to go for a fist bump, but doesn't do fist bump.
The moment of baton goes from Brian and Sheamus to Stan and Leo Rush.
I told you, folks that are listening at home. I've always admitted to being socially awkward. And it yet again showed through.
We had a premonition that Stan would pull up.
And it happened. But hey, if you can't laugh at it, what can you do?
He was
right?
like, Leo Rush.
Hey, Leo, what do I do?
Sorry.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Let's talk about the main event. Entourage versus the House of Hardy. Matt and Jeff Hardy was out there. The match itself, no disqualification, no count out. And in the middle of it, all of a sudden runs down the Appalachian Outlaws. Just tearing into Jeff Hardy. Don't even know why they ran down to beat up Jeff Hardy, but they did. They take Hardy to the back.
Their favorite pastime.
What, beat up Jeff Hardy?
No.
So they go through that. Matt Hardy spends the better part of the matchup getting beat down. Jeff Hardy makes a triumphant return, hits the ring as a house of fire, and we have new MCW Tag Team Champions. Matt and Jeff, the Hardy brothers, the Hardys.
That was not the main event.
No, in a very special main event, just for us, I think, because I don't know if they're going to broadcast it on Impact or not.
Undefeated.
Challenging the undefeated streak tonight of one King Maxwell was Kevin Eck, former WWE creative writer and manager, of course, of the Entourage. Says that he hates Matt Hardy, hates Jeff Hardy, and if King Maxwell was there, he would kick his ass, which is really kind of shameful. You're talking about a 2-year-old. But anyway, out comes Rebecca, Queen Rebecca, I think that's what he calls her, and King Maxwell. King Maxwell picks up his second victory in the professional wrestling business, pinning Kevin Eck. Business. Then there was this kind of snafu with the microphone that almost killed all of our eardrums.
Well, it's because I think when he dropped Kevin Eck on his face, he dropped him on the microphone.
Oh, well, that would explain that. We got to celebrate Obsolete, where Jeff sang to the crowd and to the Entourage specifically that they were obsolete.
That's it. Punisher Martinez. Yes, we found it. Punisher Martinez.
Aha. Punisher Martinez.
Yes.
Big, tall dude. Not quite as tall as the big drink of water known as Big Sean Studd, the MCW champion. Drolix wanted himself a piece of that. That didn't work out too well.
He wanted to take a drink of water.
And apparently he was thirsty.
He got choked on it.
I never thought you could choke on water, but I guess you can when...
You can choke on anything. I mean, we can stop by the cock store if you want. You can choke on that all day long.
Especially if he gets good service.
Yeah. I mean, they'll give you a box. Then you can choke on it.
A box.
A box.
I mean, it might
Not your dog box.
It might be hard to get good service, but
Not your cable box.
Wait a minute. Are you sure it's not the cable box?
Yeah, positive. Not the cable box.
where do you put your box?
I think Stan is called a hot box.
What?
Anything can go in that hot box.
This is getting awkward. This is already getting out of hand. We've only been on the air for 18 minutes, and you guys are making it already crazy.
Well, we can't do it tomorrow night, so we might as well get it out tonight.
That's true. That's true. We got to keep everything on the straight and narrow. We don't want Eddie Lane to cut us off in the middle of the Royal Rumble. That's
Yes.
right.
That would be hard to do.
No, because I think we're tied into him. So if he cuts the
No,
feed,
that would be hard. That would really suck.
oh, go give us some dap on that. Bam!
I think we're up to the task.
I bet you are up to the task.
Want to see?
Cock gobbler. That's with an X, by the way. C-O-X. Cox.
I'll put it in your ear.
No, you won't. It's too tiny.
It's
a tiny wiener. Yep. And ain't you got one of them innies? Micro. That's what it's called, micro. You know,
Micros.
you can't get no help for that either, by the way. There's no help for a micro.
There's pills.
Let it sit in your hand for a little while. It'll get bigger.
No, it won't.
Some things grow, some things falter.
Yeah.
Some things shrink. You're saying it'd be like a turtle going back in his shell.
I was in the pool.
Oh,
What's your favorite baseball team?
it ain't the Yankees.
Wow.
Oh, well,
Wow.
we're off the rails. That
We've
didn't
hit
take
a
long.
new low.
There it is. But hey, it is after dark anyway, so.
Back on MCW.
That's right.
Because MCW really did have some stiff competition in it.
Well, we do know that tonight was also NXT TakeOver in San Antonio.
Oh, wait. We should, though, just let the listeners know that MCW does have a page you can go watch.
Yes.
Maybe watch some of the matches.
MCWRageTV.com,
Right.
where you can watch tonight's event as well as past events. I believe it's all on demand and fairly similar to WWE Network and such. It's a subscription service, so you're paying each month. But tonight's show worth the price of admission. I really, really enjoyed it. Not too long of a trip to get up here. What do you guys think?
No, not bad.
Now, the question is, because we did get to see Phil Stamper, friend of Beyond Ringside, and I'm sure he's listening, even though he was extremely busy tonight. We did see you, Phil. Wish we had a chance to maybe say a couple words with you, but you were definitely busy when we got there.
Props to their social media guy
Yes.
for keeping up with two of us.
Three of us.
Oh, I did not know that Rob broke his coccyx tonight in the Twitter feed, in the Twitter sphere.
I think it's actually Hyman.
It's the twat.
Oh, it's the Twatosphere.
Twatosphere.
Twatosphere. Oh, the Twatosphere. All right.
I guess it is indeed after dark. We're corner to corner right now.
I could turn the headlights off and it'd really be dark.
No. Let's not do that.
95 with no light left.
Oh gosh. Some of the cool stuff that I saw was all the posters of all their past events and all the different people, not just WWE, not just TNA, just worldwide talent that has been at this place. Christian York, former MCW champion. The Bruiser,
From our hometown.
That's right, from Culpeper, Virginia. We got, Mickey James, who is an MCW original. Known
From
as
Virginia.
Woo! Woo!
Down Richmond Way.
That's right. Amy Dumas, or should we say...
Isn't she
Lisa.
from Richmond, too?
She's over Virginia.
She is, and she is an MCW original. Gosh, just a lot of different talents there that I noticed have been there repeatedly, and that's really makes it a lot more attractive as a fan, because now you know that you've got big stars, up-and-comers, just a mixture of good talent. And I really did think that the way the matches were booked tonight, it told a good story, and nobody was increasingly similar to the other except for the first two matches. But even then, they weren't like identical. It just seemed like there were some spots where they were, well, I can do that better than you kind of thing.
Well, I think one of the things I liked was a majority of the talent had their identifiable gimmick that they were going with.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like some of the local federations you go to where everybody's just blah.
Right.
I mean, you really had those people that stepped it up and had different gimmicks. You know, you could tell that the Bruiser was, you know, a legend, you know.
Yes.
Everybody kind of was like hoping to get a picture with him, and, you know, it was...
A widely respected individual from all fans.
And he had a 3-on-1 match and won.
Yeah. He took on Sean Studd, Jeremiah, and the winner. And I just, you know what? It was funny. He was a good heel, but I don't remember his name. That's my bad. Sorry, MCW fans. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Did he get a sign ripped up?
That was pretty cool. That was cool. We saw that was I think that was Napalm.
Right.
That ripped up dude's sign. Just grabbed it right out from his hands, tore it in half, and then sat there and laughed at him. That was pretty cool.
Well, the guy had more than one sign because he kept putting one up. But the dude was wearing a Roman Reigns shirt, so he deserved to get his signs ripped up a little bit.
And he must have had one for each match too. So I'm gonna give him a cred for that. Maybe
Also, you see where the
Maryland championships.
You see where the seat he was at, so he probably that's his seat.
Yeah, we'll call him a super fan, MCW.
I would say so. That was one thing I also noticed, that the fans that were there tonight, there were some that had probably, like us, never been there before. But a good majority of those people knew everybody that was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were excited to be there. It was just like Joppa's night at the wrestling show. I mean, it was a family affair. Lots of kids there. Lots of kids in attendance. A lot of Jeff Hardy fans that were kids. There was that one guy that came out, the 2-year veteran. He was like Mitchell Jacob Feinstein or Marvin Jacob. I don't remember his first name. But he seemed like he was okay. He wasn't bad. His mannerisms in the ring were good. He took on a guy by the name of Greg Excellent, who, Greg, if you're listening, one hairy guy to another, you probably want to wear a shirt in the ring. I'm just saying.
I just thought the gimmick was funny.
Yeah, I think he should do what Rob suggested and oil himself up. That would be even better.
Well, man, all right. Never mind what I say, Mr. Excellent. You should grab the baby oil and lather.
Yeah, just lather up so that hair is just like so.
Slather yourself in baby oil. Oh, man.
And then he should have kissed those girls when they grabbed them. He should have just been like...
That one girl that, the redhead, after he spanked her and was getting ready to, I guess, turn and face Feinstein kind of shoved her out of the way, and she took a nasty spill. I was surprised she was okay and able to walk out on her own accord.
She walked out with Leo Rush, so...
Did she?
She did.
Ah, okay. I was hoping to see Leo Rush's entrance like I had seen before in Evolve and some of the other matches that he's performed in that I've seen through Flow Slam. But the entrance he had tonight was definitely a babyface reaction and a positive, huge positive reaction for him. A lot of fans out there wanting to see Leo Rush tonight. Myself included. This is the first time we had seen Leo Rush live, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it would have been nice if the ceiling was a little bit higher.
How many times
probably would have gotten crazy, but
I mean, I thought for sure there were a couple times where they were going to hit that sprinkler head, and we were all going to be underwater.
Yeah, that would have been good. Good time.
I can definitely see why Evolve comes back to Joppa because it's definitely a wrestling-friendly crowd, and they recognize good talent. They recognize good work. I was really impressed with just the overall feel for the company. The marketplace that they're at, the flea market, it's a huge building, and really that part I think was well done because had this been a show that was earlier in the day, you could actually walk around, get business at the flea market, and then have people come in for the wrestling show. So, and I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've seen that. It's just an outside looking in kind of perspective.
I mean, just think about how many local federations would kill to have a place like that. You know?
I mean, think about it. We've seen a couple local feds, and they don't draw anything remotely close to that.
Right.
So, I'd have to put Joppa up there as far as a loyal fan base. They look pretty loyal to me.
So here's a question, and this is meant not as a detraction from TNA, but just an overall observation. Joppa, Maryland.
They had to bring TNA in there.
Well,
they're having a good day.
They had their tag team champions there, and Jeremy Borash.
Poor Jeremy Borash.
How is it that a company like MCW, which has been around for a long time, and it's a very solid crowd following, but Joppa, Maryland, just from personal experience, is not a high-income area. You've got everything is accurately priced there, but how is it that MCW can sell out 1,400 people and TNA has to still give tickets away?
Because it's better. It's a better product.
Now, overall, this isn't to say that TNA's wrestling is poor, because it's not. I think, at least Brian and I, would agree that the wrestling product for TNA is still pretty solid.
It depends on who the talent is. Some of it just still doesn't hold water, but other ones are really good. You know, you do have some couple former WWE. You have some that could probably go to NXT and survive. You know, you have some that could go other places and become big names. But it's the storytelling, probably more than anything. Look at the what's that one title?
The Grand Championship.
The Grand Championship. I don't understand the Grand Championship, the rules, or none of it. The point system, I don't understand any of it. And that one just seems to flip-flop back and forth quite regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, why would you have a title that literally can change hands back and forth so fast? It baffles me. I mean, it's a great premise behind it, but again, you know me and Rob, we want to see our TV title.
Right.
Why couldn't you just have that Grand Championship under TV title, rules? It's a 15-minute match. You either win or you don't.
Well, the going story right now with TNA is that they're actually going to drop the TNA from their name and just go by Impact Wrestling, which they hinted at doing years ago, but for some reason they just held on to the three letters, the initials.
Couldn't afford to take it off the belt.
Maybe so. I mean, getting something brand new done, everything has a cost, and with what TNA's recently gone through, they've definitely seen challenges for that. But here we are in the post-Dixie Carter era, where Anthem has taken over, and they seem to be very serious about making Impact Wrestling a dependable and reliable product again. I mean, you see a lot of guys like James Storm, who is loyal to them, could have made a fortune and done very well for himself in NXT. Did do well for himself in the short time he was there. Gosh, had he stuck around, he'd have been there for Bobby Roode, which would have been even better.
Well, let's take James Storm. All right. So he's an original.
Right.
Been there, probably since the doors have opened. What was it? America's
Most Wanted. Yep.
Right. And then Beer Money, and then Singles, and I'm probably missing one or two. But now again, he's in an angle that to me just makes no sense.
Right.
Okay, you're going to package him with people. Okay, but why does he have to come out in a suit and tie with a stupid mask on?
Right, the DCC.
Right.
What does DCC stand for anyway?
It's Death Something Council, I think.
Wow.
It's a cool name. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool name. Death Club. No.
But you got him shoved in a group like that, regulated to mid-card or whatever status, when you've got people in the main event who don't need to be in the main event.
Right. Mike Bennett. Somebody want to tell me what we're doing with Mike Bennett and Maria?
Well, I mean, the same could be said for Moose, who seems to go from champion feud to falling to the wayside, going back into a champion feud. They just can't seem to get it under their belt. Or Bobby Lashley is another example. They take the belt off of him, they give it to Eddie Edwards, which is great. I'm okay with that. I'm even okay with Bobby Lashley being champion as long as his title reign isn't littered with, honestly, what we've seen in the past with Impact, and that's just too many run-ins, too many ref bumps, a whole lot of overbooked finish, which always drove me nuts. And this isn't supposed to really be a bash session. My question, the initial thought process here is this. You've got a company like MCW, which is been successful for a long time. I'm sure they've seen struggles, but judging from tonight's attendance, they definitely have seen a good, strong surge of paying customers. So,
again, all right. So here. I think this will sum it up quite nicely. On the local scene, independent scene, regional scene, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Rob made the point earlier where they continued storylines. Every night they wrestle, they have to continue a storyline. So those guys are programmed to go out there and run that story, as in to tell it in case you've never seen it.
Right.
And I don't think there was anything that happened tonight other than the names of the wrestlers that we didn't understand from what little contact we had. But you take TNA and you can watch it for 6 months and you can still scratch your head. They don't have vignettes. There wasn't a lot of talking. It was, okay, hey bud, you've been screwing with me for the last month, so I'm gonna deal with you tonight. When the guy from Black Wall Street come out,
right.
I was the MCW Wrestler of the Year, and you came out and beat me up. That's all I need to know. Whereas TNA, I watched it this last episode. There's a scene where one of the guy wrestlers and one of the female wrestlers are sitting down to eat dinner. What are we doing? I don't care about y'all going to eat dinner. It's some stupid storyline. I don't need to see that.
Yeah,
Get rid of that stuff.
With the major storylines, like with what the Hardys are doing, it makes sense to give them that TV time because it's entertaining, and the Hardys know what they're doing. They know how to deliver in those segments. A lot of these guys and gals coming up aren't necessarily seasoned in that way, and this is where WWE's style is really a benefit, because that's how you learn to promote yourself, and that's what the Hardys have been doing since they started when they were in their teens. So, I mean, a lot of that we saw tonight with guys like Drolix, with the Bruiser, with Big Sean Studd to a lesser extent. But you saw these guys that had started at the bottom and made their names in a local area, so that by the time they make it to internet pay-per-view, internet TV, and pay-per-view at some point or another, that they're recognized nationwide and eventually worldwide. I mean, Drolix right now is known through the East Coast. I'm not certain as to how well he's known on the West Coast, and for all the MCW faithful, I don't mean that as a dig. I just don't know a whole lot about the guy. So he could be very well known in the West Coast. I just don't know. But that was the interesting thing that I saw tonight, was that all of the talent there for the MCW faithful, they had support. Even the bad guys, they knew exactly when to boo, they knew exactly when to cheer. It was, would you say it was better than a WWE crowd?
No, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I mean it was a good crowd.
When you're looking at your WWE crowd is more polished. Like the production is they have the more of the lights and the smoke and the and this and that. MCW had a great. I mean, they had the pomp and circumstance that you don't normally get at your local talent.
Yeah. How about that guy that had his own bartender? That was pretty cool.
I mean, to me, I'm sitting there looking at it as a performer going, the guy could come out with a glass and hold it, and then the guy come out and take the glass.
Right.
Like, why bring out the table and then, but I thought it was good. I mean, going back to, like, TNA, like, my issue with TNA is the fact that Lashley and whoever has the world title is kind of like Charlotte and Sasha. It's like the rest of the roster doesn't exist because Lashley wants the world title.
Right.
It's like, eventually, we got to move on.
Well, I mean, you got guys like James Storm, Drew Galloway, EC3, Eli Drake, and those Mike Bennett, even Moose, that can deliver in a main event setting. Especially Cody, yeah.
When he shows up.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, they're stuck on autopilot, it seems like.
Right.
It seems like at some point, I mean, there are really talented wrestlers. We know that. They wouldn't be where they are if they didn't have talent,
Right.
And again, we're not digging them for talent. We're digging them for all the other stuff.
The production.
Right.
Yeah.
The production and the writing, it's just like you said, we've had the Maria and I don't even know who her lackey's been. I forgot her name.
Amber?
Yeah.
But like, you've had this thing going on forever. And even, you know, the new fans can sit there and go, all right, well, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
You know, at some point, it gets to the point where who cares? You know, because when she finally does turn on Maria, and what's next?
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Helms Dynasty. I think they're still called that. Again, they have a certain look that you should be able to capitalize. They're very competent wrestlers in the ring, and God, if they didn't fall right off the map, and which is probably a shame.
So let's kind of recap, because unfortunately the old phone battery here is about to go kaput. So if we recap tonight's event,
Saved by the cord.
yeah, we've got a charger cord. Oh yeah. So the opening contest, the tag team contest between, wait for it.
Talking about Facebook Live or the other one?
The Facebook Live contest.
It was a singles competition.
Yeah, it was
Right.
2 singles and then the tag.
I thought that was pretty cool that they did just for Facebook Live, like the social media exclusives.
That's where you get with MCW is like they know their fan base.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I will have to say this though, the team that did the run-in on the first tag team, apparently like nobody knew who they were. So
Yeah, these
that'll
were the
be
guys
worth
that
the research.
if you don't like it, F you.
Yeah.
They're the F you guys. That's all I can tell you.
And again, even the faithful were like, I don't know who they are.
we were leaning over. Who are these guys? Who are these guys? I don't know.
So we'll have to look into that, doesn't it? Be curious to see if we can figure it out.
So Black Wall Street was a definite highlight.
Yes.
This big dude that came out, and I can only assume he's part of Black Wall Street,
According to the poster on the wall, yes.
Mm-hmm.
came out to save the day for Drolix as Drolix was getting beat down by
But
Martinez and Napalm.
But you could tell that there was a history there of a storyline.
Right.
Because the guy was like, I'm here to whip your tail, Drolix. But then at the last minute, did the swerve.
And that was pretty cool because the faithful they all knew what was going on. Nobody was like, who the hell are these guys? Except for us. We're like, I guess this is Black Wall Street. Which, you know, but even still, as brand new fans to MCW, just coming out for this first time, we were able to pick up and understand what was happening because just like Rob and Brian have mentioned, they made subtle tweaks, but they continued the story. They continued the feud or the angle, however you want to word it.
And then it helped too that, you know, again, this is kind of foolish, but it helped having the posters on the wall.
Yes.
Because it was like, oh, they must have been a faction. And Rob's like, yep, they're Black Wall Street. They're right there, all 4 of them. So it didn't take long to get educated somewhat and brought up to speed pretty quick.
Who would you say, because we saw like some guys like Patrick Clark from Tough Enough and a few other people that had started in MCW and are in NXT. Out of the guys we saw tonight, who do you think could be like a shoo-in to get signed to NXT?
Leo Rush.
Well, yeah.
Drolix, okay.
But if you're going like MCW talent,
Right.
Drolix.
I would do the Guns.
Guns for Hire?
They have that look.
So, let's talk about the guy that looked like Big Cass for a second here. He gets in the ring, gets one guy, he's setting up for a fall-away slam.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy jumps on him, he holds him. 2 guys getting ready to set up for a fall-away slam. But that's not enough. He gets a third guy, holds him, walks around, then does a fall-away slam. I mean, this was like John Cena freak strength kind of thing.
Yeah, and he clears all 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3 of them. And from that position, I don't know how well you can. I don't know if the phrase is jump or push off, but it looked great. The spot itself was awesome, and it was impressive for that big guy. they are apparently very, very popular with the MCW crowd. I'm guessing they're former tag champs because they definitely had a good feel to them. And they also promised if they were to win the tag team championship, they promised the first title shot to the Hellcats, which they were a pretty talented team. I don't know a whole lot about them. The one guy that Rob called the poor man's Dick Grayson.
Nightwing.
Sorry, Nightwing. I'm sorry, dude. I just gave away your secret identity. Oops. Spoiler
Damn
alert.
it, screwed up again.
Spoiler alert.
What was? Do you remember the other team, the fourth team?
Oh, Coast to Coast.
Yes, I thought they had a really good look too.
Yeah. So Coast to Coast, Guns for Hire, Appalachian Outlaws, and the Hellcats in the four-way for the number one contender spot. Guns for Hire versus the Hardys could be a good match. I mean, based off what little we saw of them this evening, Guns for Hire were impressive, and they waited forever to get them in the ring. We saw the Hellcats mix it up. We saw Appalachian Outlaws. They spent a majority of the time in the ring. Coast to Coast, maybe a little here and there.
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's.
Now,
Yes, sir.
question. How does MCW get their titles back?
Well, here's the thing that I noticed. In the title switch that we saw tonight, it was a TNA official that counted the 3. It was an MCW official that allowed Jeff Hardy to get beat up in the first place. I think...
But it was no disqualification.
Right.
True, but I think they could still claim that TNA had a conspiracy to steal the titles away from them. And Kevin Eck seems perfect to claim conspiracy. And we could actually see, especially if the rumors are true and the Hardys don't re-sign, the titles, like you predicted, Rob, go vacant and then have to do maybe a tournament or a Four Corners match or whatever.
However, I don't see any of this taking place, though, until after April 1st. Because I think the Bucks will probably snag a few more local titles. I imagine Matt and Jeff are going to snag a few more local titles. And I think when it happens at Ring of Honor, what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of their pay-per-view.
It's the one that it's scheduled for.
Super.
Is it?
It's April 1st. I know the date.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Super Card of Honor?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I think that's what they call it.
I would imagine, though, with the story they've got going, that there are probably going to be a crap load of tag team titles in that match. And, who knows?
Hey, I don't know if they've ever done it, but I wonder if Ring of Honor has ever done a show in Joplin. I mean, I know that they record in Baltimore a lot, but...
I would imagine when they probably first started out. Because the Ring of Honor crowd, unless I'm missing something, is probably not much bigger than what we saw tonight.
Plus, the Ring of Honor crowd will travel from anywhere.
Right.
They are definitely diehard fans. I would love to see the Young Bucks versus the Hardys live. That would be awesome.
Yeah, well, again, when they come back, I think that's something we should look into doing.
So, if you're looking as just a brand new wrestling fan, MCW, does it strike you as something that immediately that just jumps off the page and you'd want to spend your money and go?
Oh, I think if we lived closer,
we'd be there all the time.
Be regulars. So there's no doubt in my mind if we were closer.
So we definitely have plenty of time, and I think we've given MCW a lot of time. And of course, if you guys have thoughts, just keep throwing them out there. But we've got the Royal Rumble tomorrow night. This is our final opportunity to do predictions or finally.
Hey, can we play spoiler one more time though?
Yeah.
The one little tidbit that we know of that came out of NXT TakeOver?
Yes. Brian?
No, I'm going to let you, because you spoiled it for me and Rob.
Yeah.
So
We're sitting here enjoying MCW, and Stan has been on his dang gold phone all day.
Well, for the record, MCW liked what we were doing on Stan's phone.
A lot, yeah.
So, thank you, MCW.
And again, I don't know how they kept up with us.
Well,
It wasn't just your phone there, punk.
I said us. I said us. Did I say us? I said us.
But
pretty
y'all
sure I said
my phone.
Y'all can follow me, because I'm pretty sure I follow y'all.
That's right.
So we
at
gave you love.
STRCP21.
Yes.
At Rob Hefner. At Stan from Krypton. Actually, I think they're already following me and our radio show.
Yeah, well, yeah, they did pick up Corner to Corner tonight.
Yeah, let's hear about that. All right. So, spoiler alert.
There's a nice guy in Japan, by the way.
Breaking news.
I've got them all over the place myself. I don't know.
NXT TakeOver San Antonio was tonight. I do not know the results of the event.
So we're not going to give results.
Correct.
We're going to give them one little tidbit.
We will talk about the results of NXT tomorrow during our pay-per-view coverage as well. But we do know that Seth Rollins made a guest appearance at NXT and essentially stated that he would not leave the ring unless Triple H removed him from it.
Now, we don't know. I don't think we know if that happened or not.
I don't know. I saw the tidbit on Twitter that said he was there, and then I just kept scrolling because I was too busy updating stuff from where we were at.
And he kept getting that, like, boom.
It was, I gotta tell you, that was really fun. It's fun when you see a company interacting with you, like MCW was tonight, liking the tweets, retweeting them for us. That was really cool. So just like Brian
didn't have
said,
to pay money.
Exactly. This was free press for us, free press for them. And I mean, not like they need our help, but we definitely appreciate it. And I was pumped up just to see the interaction. It makes it a lot more fun to be in an event when you can feel like you're taking part, even if, you know, from their perspective, it's just, all right, some other fans really enjoying our show. Great, let's retweet it. But the social media guy for MCW, just like Brian mentioned, MCW Wrestling, at MCW Wrestling, excuse me, deserves a raise because he was doing a great job keeping up with us. I can only imagine how many other people he was keeping up with.
Yeah, I mean, I killed, my battery died pretty much. So that's why I had to stop.
Yeah.
If it was a full charge, oh yeah, I'd be going on all night long.
All night long.
All night.
Uh-oh, not the Rich Swan song. Go.
That's not the Rich Swan song.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
it isn't.
No,
It is.
No,
It is.
That's Gloria Estefan, isn't it? That's Gloria Estefan.
It's Lionel Richie.
Oh, Lionel Richie. Oh.
Anyhow,
Okay, whatever.
gotta say for last minute decision that we're gonna
Y'all
do-
are lucky I'm even awake right now.
I keep talking to you and I keep putting the microphone in your face. So I
Well, as soon as the show goes off, you'll be gone.
right.
As soon as the show goes, we're like, from corner to corner.
For Brian.
all right, so get back to Seth Rollins. Get back to Seth Rollins.
Stop picking on me, goddammit.
I think we can say unequivocally that the first match for WrestleMania to be announced is Seth Rollins versus Triple H. Whether they wait and announce it, 2 months from now, I think this is definitely, with him not being in the Rumble, I think this is clearly setting up for Rollins and Triple H.
And this is 2 years in the making because they were building towards it when Rollins got hurt. Slowly. It was a slow burn, that's for sure. I expect that match will be at least a 4-star matchup. I think it's going to be really good.
Yes.
It's going to be a pedigree of a match.
So, let's talk Royal Rumble rumors. We listened tonight.
Rumor!
On the way here, we listened to an interview with Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega, seemingly, this is before Wrestle Kingdom 11 with Chris Jericho, talks about, Wrestle Kingdom 11 with Okada, his interview with Chris Jericho.
Right.
Seemingly says that he'd be open to discussions with WWE, however, he really wants to make his fame in New Japan. Then we find out in another interview, and this was not the one from Wrestling Observer Radio, this is a different one, that he states that It would really depend on the creative deal offered to him. It's not necessarily about the money, but it would have to be the right creative deal. Then we find out on the Observer's radio show that Omega states that he's going to renegotiate or attempt to renegotiate in February to stay with New Japan. Now, tomorrow night is the Royal Rumble. His contract is supposed to be up as of the 31st.
All right, so let's stop right there. Because I have been scouring the internet for any news.
The interwebs.
On Kenny O. Because I'm a big fan. Huge fan. And I'd love nothing more than for him to come to WWE. However, he did have an interview on the Taz show. And he stated that when Nakamura and AJ Styles left, okay, New Japan redid some of the contracts for some of the wrestlers. And some of them got shifted from the end of the month to much earlier in the month. The 8th, 9th, and 10th. Okay?
Right.
Kenny also hinted, in a roundabout way that Kenny does, that he may have been one of those wrestlers who had his contract redone. All right? The other day I saw an interview, or not an interview, but what is it? What's the name of their show? The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they have a show they put out on YouTube. It was simply Kenny in a hotel room, which I'm assuming is down in Chile. And he says that he will, in fact, go back to New Japan Wrestling, and that he will look to redo his contract in February. The Young Bucks also posted on their Twitter account a picture of Omega and both Young Bucks, and it says the Elite. It's the one you find on T-shirts and everything else. Now, but that's about all they say. They don't really congratulate him for making the decision. They don't, say, "Hey, we look forward to working with you again. We want the Elite back." They don't say none of it. Kenny Omega is probably the hottest free agent out there in the entire world right now, in the world of pro wrestling. I can't think of anybody hotter that's currently at the end of the contract or under no contract. All right? I went and looked at New Japan Wrestling's website. There's no mention that I saw of Kenny Omega returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
You can read Japanese?
Well, no, but you can find stuff in English. Trust me, because I watch New Japan World all the time, and this lane's about to run out. Oh! Anyway, there's no mention of it. There's no mention in the dirt sheets. There's no mention anywhere that I could find of Kenny, re-signing New Japan. So I'm not quite sure if we're not getting another, much like AJ.
Yes.
We're not getting another, we're just going to, quote unquote, say one thing and then it'll be a huge shock at the Rumble.
And this wouldn't be the first time that Smeltzer's been worked in an interview,
right,
and been exploited,
right,
just to make sure that fans were led astray, which would be enormous. The size of a signing for Kenny Omega right now, capitalizing off of Wrestle Kingdom 11 and his G1 Climax tournament victory, you can't overstate it. You can't say it enough. Kenny Omega is definitely the hottest pro wrestling free agent out there today.
And again, I'm not trying to disprove it. I'm not calling Kenny a liar, but watching this business for as long as you have,
look at that gorgeous Corvette. Dang.
Sometimes you just can't feed into everything.
Right.
Because to me, if it looks like the Young Bucks have moved on with Adam Cole.
Baby!
It looks like the Bullet Club is slowly being phased out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, they're not even showing up on their posters, the next two posters for their next two big events. None. Kenny does. I think Kenny shows up on one, but not the other one. And these are in like March and April, I think. So they're not even showcasing them like they were on their posters. So to me, it almost looks like they're phasing them out, or they're getting them ready for if they expand into California like they've talked about,
right,
and moving them stateside, which is possible. I mean, but to me, New Japan is now too crowded. You have Suzuki Gun that just came back, which added about 16 people. ROH is there. CMLL is there.
Chaos is there.
Yeah. I mean, Chaos.
Los Ingobernables.
There you go. De Japón. I mean, there must be 50 or 60 wrestlers. And to me, if Kenny was coming back to New Japan, you would automatically capitalize on Wrestle Kingdom 11, and he would be facing Okada again at the next pay-per-view. But the guy from Suzuki Gun, and forgive me for being old and tired and not remembering his name.
Is it Takahashi?
It might.
The guy because he was no Takahashi.
Yeah, Takahashi is somebody else. Yeah. But again, if you were truly going to capitalize on Wrestle Kingdom, Kenny Omega should automatically have gotten a return bout. If you saw Wrestle Kingdom, the end, the Young Bucks did not interfere in the match, other than but they had nothing to do with the outcome.
Right.
And ever since Wrestle Kingdom, and even Wrestle Kingdom, and the Bullet Club just has been almost phased out. I mean, they're losing matches right and left, and I know they weren't really, it's not about winning and losing for them, but it's almost like, no, Suzuki Gun's back, we're going to put you on the show. So I just don't know if I can buy into Kenny going back to New Japan until it's official, announced, the ink is dry on the contract. And don't get me wrong, I have New Japan World, and I'll be more than happy to watch them over there, but I just don't know if I can buy it yet.
Well, I think the strength of New Japan right now is focusing on not just one talent, but multiple, and I think they've always done well with that. But they seemingly are afraid of what happens if the Young Bucks and Omega make the leap, whether it's TNA or Ring of Honor or WWE or all points in between. Because that would be the story it seems to be telling right now with them being phased out, unless, of course, they're just waiting to reintroduce them with the California deal that you spoke about just a few moments ago. Rob, what's your take on Omega, and if he gets signed? We'll put it that way.
If there was nothing to talk about, nobody would talk about it.
Right.
If he was going back to New Japan and that was it, then there would be no talk about it. He'd be, I'm going to New Japan. But in this society of social media and all that, I mean, he's doing a great job keeping everybody on the hook. So, I mean, you could see him. I mean, you could logically see him show up tomorrow night at the Rumble up here, or in a few minutes tonight in the Rumble, and then go back and finish his dates that he has to do, kind of like what they did with Mickie James. Mickie James came back,
right,
and then she needed to finish some independent local dates and stuff, so she went around and did that. AJ Styles did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's also another interview where Kenny's sitting at a table, he's signing autographs, there's about 50 people, and they're doing a Q&A with him, maybe in Canada, based on accents. And he states he would love to face AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Well, here's probably your one and only opportunity, because no telling what's going to happen to AJ, next year once he drops the title, whatever, what they're going to do with him.
Right.
But right now he's the world champ. You would get that ultimate wish. You would then be able to say, hey, I set New Japan on fire and gave him a 6-star match according to Smeltzer. And now I've done that to the WWE. Me and AJ have just literally performed a match that just can't be topped. And then go back to New Japan after a year in the WWE. But it's perfect right now. They're saying, well, he can wait a year. Well, no, that's not necessarily true, because he's hot now, but what happens in a year?
Right.
So I think he is smart enough to strike where that iron is hot and take that chance. Because right now he could walk in the WWE and say, hey, I want AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and I'll lay money. Triple H will say, hey, you got AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Vince will say, hey, that's going to make me a shit ton of money. You got AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Because the thing is, he's at the point in his career where he can do what he wants to do. You could go to the WWE, and what happens? A year down the road, 6 months down the road, creative pisses him off. He can go back to New Japan,
right,
and he wouldn't have lost anything.
Right. I mean, I don't think any of the guys that came in this last batch with the Club, AJ Styles, Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Samoa Joe, any of that group has suffered. I understand the Club is not where everybody wants them to be, but again, I don't think with what they were doing with New Day, it would have worked out. So now you got to push them off. Hey guys, you're due. We know you're due, but you got to wait. We want to make this run for New Day. Okay. And now look at them. They're again fighting for the world title. They've had plenty of opportunities. I would imagine tomorrow they're going to walk away being WWE Tag Team Champions. Or Raw Tag Team Champions, whatever it is.
They're not going to look good with the red belt, though.
So let's jump into another rumor that seems to be making its way through the internets, the interwebs.
And that is not a rumor about Stan, people. It is the truth.
It is the truth.
Do I get to know what's true?
No.
It is written.
Look it up.
Okay, I'll be Googling myself. Wait, that's not what I meant.
Sucker.
So it's awkward.
No more Yankee my wanky.
You gonna go shop at the cock store.
Shut up, Rob.
Well, you gotta be a comedian, huh? Fuck you, man.
I can say it on speaker, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I just did.
Yeah.
So the rumor that's been making the rounds this week is that Finn Balor, who has been seemingly healthy, but we don't know for sure because we've not heard that he would be cleared, is apparently going to not only return but win the Rumble. And that's just I've just started hearing that this week.
Well, yeah, but we have made mention of that in the past.
Right.
Because, again, with what they're doing on social media with the Good Brothers and, Balor giving the too sweet before he left and all that stuff, I think that might be the next step, is you will have the Balor Club as opposed to the Bullet Club on Raw. And Balor will go bad, and he will then eventually get that world title.
Speaking of Good Brothers and something that's been floating around on social media, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but Carl Anderson was riding with the Big Show on the way to a house show not too long ago. How about the transformation that the Big Show has made physically from seemingly overweight to chiseled in stone? He's got ab muscles that are legit. His biceps look like they could break you in half. I mean, how in the world did the Big Show get in this kind of shape? And how impressive is that?
Oh, yeah. God, he hasn't looked like this since he came out in WCW.
Yeah. The stare down with him and Braun Strowman this past Monday night. Strowman and the Big Show both have gotten into so much better shape than they were 2 years ago. I saw a photo of it, and just the gut that both guys had at the time has shrank. They've gotten in such better shape. I wish I knew the secret that these guys do, because it's really amazing to me.
Yeah,
exercise.
I don't know what the hell that is. Because you imagine the Big Show being so big, and even Strowman, they have to eat so much to begin with. And it's easy to get, overweight. But then to lose it like the Big Show has, God, I want to see the next match where they announce it, if they announce his weight.
It can't be 400 pounds anymore. There's no way.
There's no way.
If it is, it's muscle. It's solid rock.
Well, they've also read that he was doing this because this is his last run.
Right.
Like, he's going to hang it up after this run is done. So he wanted to get in shape and do it the right way.
And his WrestleMania match that's upcoming, I guess you could say we have 2 confirmed matches because he's supposed to take on Shaq at WrestleMania.
Well, hopefully that would change.
Yeah, hopefully it'll change. Maybe after Monday it'll be Strowman.
Maybe David Arquette will say he's not busy, and
can he be the special referee?
David Arquette and Shaq can fight.
Ugh. That would be awful. But you know what? Because WrestleMania will still be 12 hours this year, it'll probably be the pre-show.
That's the thing.
12 hours, 7.5 hours of talking.
Oh, God. Wasn't there a time, was it WrestleMania 20? No, not 20, but 2000, that it started at like 12 in the afternoon?
No, dude, it started like fucking way before that because we sat there and watched every stinking hour of it. If y'all remember right,
didn't they
y'all
did
came
like
over the house.
Freaking marathon, right, with WrestleMania matches?
All they showed every the edited WrestleMania. So you might have gotten like 1 or 2 matches, but it was 1 per hour.
Yeah.
And I think y'all got over there maybe around 10, 11 in the morning, and we watched it till 12 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night, whatever it was.
It's just seemingly unheard of in today's wrestling world to have that much wrestling content. But, I mean, the Royal Rumble starts at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Series started at 5 this year. WrestleMania will most likely start off at like 4. I mean, it's crazy to me. And even NXT now starts about a half hour to an hour early with their pre-show.
Well, I don't mind you starting early as long as you put quality matches on there.
Right.
I think they finally got it right with the Rumble with Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Club, and then Nia Jax and Sasha Banks. Yeah, that's great. Those are nice, good pay-per-view quality matches.
Right.
That you have on your pre-show.
Don't give me one match and then the rest is talking.
Yeah. Or don't give me a match that you could literally just not care anything about.
A pre-show stopper.
Now, aside from Kenny Omega, which I think we all would just go nuts if he debuted, you got 8 spots in the Rumble that aren't taken right now. I mean, who else does a guest spot?
Angle.
I think Angle's one. I would personally like to see Bully Ray come back.
Bully Ray, not Bubba Ray.
Not
Bully
Bubba.
Ray.
Bully Ray. And have a singles run. Because I loved Bully Ray. I thought he was spot on with the character. I mean, if that's what he is like in real life, hey, again, I think that was probably the closest one that emulated him in real life. Just a big tough guy. He doesn't need to live on the Dudley legacy right now. He can again go make his own legacy as Bully Ray and bring Velvet because we love Velvet.
So we got Kurt Angle, Bully Ray.
I'm dreaming about Velvet.
I know. Yeah, but if you start dreaming, then we'll never get you back. Damn it! We've lost Brian.
Just like that.
Sorry, his pill kick in. It'll be like, what?
Boo!
There's rumor that Kyle O'Reilly might be going.
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, I think, is still under contract till April.
Ah, okay.
But Kyle's, I think, is up. One of the War Machines, I think, is up.
Is that Warbeard Hansen, I think is his name?
Yeah, I don't remember which one's out or up. But I don't know if, again, for people that watch ROH, that would be a great surprise, but I don't know if the mass audience is privy to Kyle O'Reilly like a diehard fan would be.
So, somebody on Twitter, in their infinite wisdom, did a screen capture of when Mojo Rawley won his entrance into the Rumble. On the bottom of the screen, there's a crawl of different wrestlers' names that kind of scroll through. They did a freeze frame, and one of the names that shows up in the crawl is Zack Sabre Jr. So I think we can safely assume that Zack Sabre Jr. will have a guest spot. I think that we'll probably see Rich Swann or one of the other cruiserweights in it.
Well, yeah.
Isn't Rich Swann in a match?
Yeah,
He is. He's defending against Neville. You're right. Thank you.
So you'll probably have Brian Kendrick at Last Chance.
Drew Gulak.
No, I don't think you're going to have
Now, let me ask you all this.
with so many of those.
Which one of you all would lose their more if Kenny Omega comes out?
Oh, let me tell you what. If Kenny Omega comes back, you better run, because I'm going to grab a broom and I'm going to whack the crap out of somebody. You're going to get hit with a broom.
But what if the Bucks of Youth came out too?
Ah, the Bucks of Youth. Shit.
My only problem with that is they're signed for the ROH, and I really want to see that play out.
Well, the dastardly Meek Man, he could pull it off. He could sign them both. Screw Ring of Honor. You're wrestling for me now. Come on over here, pal.
We'll let them sell your figure.
What if Steve Corino had his one and only Royal Rumble entry?
Well, that would be interesting. But again, I don't know how many people would recognize Corino.
And I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but what if...
Corino was not bad shape, because I think he had one or two matches in ROH, and he didn't look bad.
What about Nigel McGuinness?
No. What about the UK champion?
Tyler Bate, who was at NXT. I saw a picture, but I don't know what he did.
That would be interesting.
I'd like to see that guy Pete Dunne on the WWE main roster. He's a bruiser, man. Bruiserweight, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, out of the 8 spots that are open, only probably 4 of them are going to be ones that you're going to pop for.
I think maybe Great Khali has his annual WWE appearance. Santino's retired. Khali is not retired.
Yeah, I mean, if they really wanted the crowd to pop,
The Boogeyman,
they would have never announced Taker.
they would have just had him show up.
They would have just had him show up, because, again, I'm not a big fan of him winning it all and then getting a title shot at WrestleMania. But when that music hit, not knowing he was coming, oh yeah, I mean, that would have been a pop. I would have jumped.
I liked back in the day when they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, how about Monday night when Taker, Brock Lesnar, and Bill Goldberg all in the same ring? And then they pull a Tony Schiavone. We gotta go.
Oh yeah, that was screwed up. Nobody's done that in forever.
That was
We Gotta Go crap was not We Gotta Go crap, because you still, like, my DVR stopped at what? Like 10:59 or some shit?
Yeah.
10:56, then I had like all that minute of shooter.
And again, it's just it's classic booking. Because the NWA was famous for that.
Yeah.
And then to have the WWE pull it out of nowhere and like, you know what? Screw it, kill a feed. We're not going. How many times have they run long?
Right.
On the USA
11:15,
Network,
11:20, and this is the one time they're like, 11:02.
Yeah, just kill it. It was pure genius. Even though it's one of those moments you just want to see happen, and it's kind of like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, the minute 40,
minute 28,
40, yeah. And it pissed me off. And And this time it was like, oh, that's pretty brilliant right there. That was a genius to just cut it. So
Pretty damn smart. And it got people that may have been on the fence about watching the Rumble this weekend all talking about, oh shit, The Undertaker, Goldberg, and Brock, what the hell?
And Goldberg, stop banging your head into stuff.
Goldberg comes out Monday night for his go-home promo for the Rumble, bleeding profusely from his head as he did his pre-match ritual headbutt to the wall or door. I don't know which one it was. And apparently it knocked him loopy.
All right. Here's a question, though, while I'm thinking about it. Didn't he do something similar to that in WCW?
Remember the time, I'm glad you asked, remember the time where Goldberg is out there beating on the limousine, going after one of the NWO, and he punches his fist through the windshield and tears his fist out of there and ends up cutting a major artery in his arm.
Yeah, but I want to say he come out with a busted head one time, too.
Oh, he used to bust his head open all the time coming out to the ring.
Wouldn't
You'd see
you
that
learn?
little cut on the top of his head. I think he gave himself a concussion.
Why
on
are you
Monday
giving
night.
yourself a pre-match warm-up when you're coming out and talking on the microphone?
Well, that's the problem, though. He must have hit himself so hard. It didn't make no sense.
No, his promo was awful.
He's like, I'm coming for the Cruiserweight Classic.
Let me start over.
It was Scott
David
Steiner
Arquette,
back.
are you in here?
So glad to be back in Joppa, Maryland.
You know somebody was rushing Paul Heyman, making him run up the hall.
Oh my God,
You need to get out of here, Paul. You need to get out of there quick.
Taker was backstage, not even planning on coming out. God, we got to save
Brock's
this segment.
probably on the pooper. Here's Paul Heyman. Oh shit! Son of a bitch.
Mark, you got to put your shit on and get out there now. What? Vince, I just got off the crutches. What the hell?
He is fucked this shit up so bad. I need to throw Taker out there to straighten it up.
But at the end of the night, were we really worried about Goldberg? No, we wanted to see what Taker, Brock, and Goldberg were going to do together. So,
well,
damn it, Vince, you got us again.
Yeah, I was tweeting. I thought he might have cut himself and opened it up accidentally or something.
Right.
It was like, oh, somebody's gonna bleed down. Only to find out he knocked himself.
But you gotta give Taker credit. Like, Taker was faster than his fucking lights. Like, lights go out, bam, Taker. Like, that's like Taker back in the day. And then they go, dong.
That was
Then they're like,
awesome.
oh, wait a minute, let's turn the lights back off. Taker's already there.
A lot of times you've heard the gong, and it gives you chills. There's always that reaction. But it was like an electric feeling Monday night because you just did not know that was going to happen.
It's because you were licking the extension cord again.
9-volt batteries, and maybe, but that can't be proven.
What about maybe we could see a triple threat with them three?
Oh my God, at WrestleMania? Holy crap. Jeez.
I beat you, but you beat him, and ha ha ha.
I conquered the guy that conquered the streak.
So therefore, I beat both the asses.
Oh my God.
Because honestly...
Stop it, Vince. Stop it.
Honestly, it would be, in one way it would be cool to see Goldberg with the world title, but I don't think we need to see Goldberg with the world title. Same thing with The Undertaker. I don't think he needs to retire as world champion. He's done enough. The title does not need to go back on Brock Lesnar because that was a fiasco for the year that he never defended that thing. But what a cool way to put them all in one match and have it mean something because Brock beat the hell out of The Undertaker. Goldberg beat the hell out of Brock Lesnar. And now maybe The Undertaker can finally beat the hell out of Goldberg.
Man.
We'll just have like a big triple I'm going to kick your butt match.
And Brett can come down and sit in the chair and be like, fuck you all.
Frustrated is the goddamn word for it. God, I miss that promo. One of my favorite sound bites ever from Bret Hart.
So, but it's interesting, though, that WrestleMania is starting to take a little bit of shape. It'll be a lot clearer tomorrow after the Rumble.
And we're all sitting here going, why?
Here's something I saw, and WWE's been doing this a lot lately, leading up to the Rumble.
Blocking you?
No, not this year. They've been showing a lot of footage of Batista. You think Batista could come back?
Lord have mercy, no. Please.
I mean, his last return wasn't great. They didn't do him any favors. They didn't write him in a good position. Yes,
well, you brought him back, and then he did the exact same thing Cena did. He comes back after being gone and going, I'm going after the world title.
And then literally throws a temper tantrum. He's done it the last 2 times.
And he quit, yeah.
And literally taking his ball and gone home.
I just noticed that they've been showing snippet after snippet, footage piece after footage piece, clip after clip of Batista winning the Rumble when he threw out John Cena, coming back and winning the Rumble in 2014, and then going on to WrestleMania and then losing to Daniel Bryan. It's just interesting to me the way maybe it's just red herrings. They're just trying to throw people off the scent and just put out their false rumors or whatever, fake news.
Alternative facts.
Alternative facts. Thank you. I was trying to think of the phrase.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but
no politics.
If we thought that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman would be something to turn WrestleMania off of, Roman Reigns versus Batista for the world title.
Oh my God, that would be, to quote Mick Foley in his description of certain wrestlers, that would be indeed the drizzling shits. It would be the worst matchup in the history of all bad matchups. It wouldn't be...
The only thing missing from that to make it a total up would be James Ellsworth. Throw him in there with that gross pairing of him and Carmella.
I hope he gets the bushwhacker treatment, actually. As soon as he comes down, he gets dumped out.
Thrown right back out.
And somehow, though, he's got to eliminate Dean Ambrose.
I would like to see him come out and Big Cass just put the boot to his face.
That would actually really
back
fun.
Over the ropes.
Yeah.
Eliminate it quick. Yeah.
And then does Carmella go, yay or oh?
If she's smart, she says yay.
She go, kayfabe or oh no.
I'm so sorry, Jimmy.
A good kick by Big Cass.
F-A-B-U-L-O-U-S.
I was trying to figure out where they were getting his clothes from. It looked like a Goodwill.
I couldn't figure it out either.
I was like, are they in Goodwill? Or...
It probably was, and they just put the guy in dressed him up or something.
I think it was just somebody backstage, and they just got a whole bunch of costumes on the racks.
To me, that looked more like they went to a store. Because there was, that looked like it was arranged.
It looked like...
Yeah. Some kind of a discount bargain bin kind of place.
Maybe it's where Macklemore got...
Hey, Macklemore, you
what's his name?
shopping?
Sheets. R. Kelly Sheets. It was 99 cents.
Jimmy gonna pop some tags.
Yeah. But, all right.
Only a quarter to quarter can you get
and a creative pause.
So out of the two...
That pause you heard was not only the creative pause, but the end of the podcast as you know it.
So out of the two shows...
Tomorrow on Corner to Corner, it'll be Rob and... Rob.
And possibly Eddie.
Out of the two go-home shows...
Right.
Which one do you think...
Was better?
Was better.
God. Man. Wrestling-wise, SmackDown. To close and prep you for Rumble, Raw. Because that final segment of Raw was phenomenal.
Which ones have been on autopilot for the last month?
Raw. Raw's been on autopilot for at least 2 months, I think. They as soon as they heard the words Royal Rumble, it was like, okay, this is the idea we're going with. Fuck everything else.
And that's what SmackDown did. They're like, hey guys, the pay-per-view 7 months from now will be Elimination Chamber with AJ Styles defending the title again. Oh shit, did we say that?
Yeah, did we screw that up already?
Sorry, John. Damn it!
We didn't mean for you to find out this way.
Like, it'll be the 17-time world
Oops.
But to me, though, with The Undertaker showing up not once but twice, that just shows you how desperate they are to dig Raw out of the hole they put it in.
You know, and I was looking on social media the other day, and the Undertaker's wife,
Michelle
like,
McCool.
she has all these pictures of her kids and everybody hanging out, her playing pig with the Undertaker in the driveway, basketball. And I'm like, I just thought, Undertaker's daughter is, 7 or whatever? Imagine growing up and dating that girl and coming home to her dad, the Undertaker, you know.
Oh, no.
Big old tatted guy just sitting there going, what are you doing?
I ain't doing nothing. I'm going home,
Bye.
sir. Have a good night, Mr. and Mrs. Taker. Good night.
No, because the daughter...
You kayfabe that shit, you know?
If the daughter doesn't tell him that, oh, yeah, my dad used to be the Undertaker, it's going to be, oh, yeah, it's Mr. Callis. Because I believe that's his name, right? Mark Callis?
Calloway.
Or Calloway. All right.
Yeah.
So, it's Calloway. Yeah. So you're gonna knock on the door, and he's gonna open it. And you're just gonna be knocking on his chest. You're gonna be scared. Mr. Calloway, and he's gonna like roll his eyes back.
Oh shit!
He does the whole thing like, she's not ready. Gonna wait in the living room. You know, and in the living room is the urn,
Oh god!
and
a
the belts.
casket that's sitting
You know,
wide open.
When he rings the doorbell, you hear the chimes.
Dong.
Like, the porch lights is that like that weird purple.
Daughter runs down. Daddy, not again.
Michelle's like, don't scare the kids this time. But she really likes him, Mark. Don't scare him.
Every Halloween he comes out in his old school Undertaker garb just to scare the kids. Happy Halloween.
You want some candy?
I remember when he debuted, kids in the front row at Survivor Series 1990 crying. Because
You
he
know what
was
I remember?
so scary.
Remember as a kid is him on the Paul Bearer, the funeral parlor,
Yeah.
and Jake Roberts and him are feuding. So then Jake Roberts shuts his hand in the
And
casket.
he drags the casket
and
around.
he just walks around like, what up, bitch?
Hey, my personal, and I don't think I'll ever forget this, and I forget what show was
I'm not
at.
going to forget it, but he forgets.
It's when I'm old. I didn't forget the moment, dumbass.
Please don't forget my car.
Is when
Where do I get off?
17 Warrington.
is when he goes goes behind the Tron, and he's pulled up.
Oh, Royal Rumble. Yeah,
Oh,
94. Yeah. I will not rest at day.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know that
God,
was
I'm loud. We're out of here. His feuds with the Undertaker, the fake Taker, Yokozuna. Hell, even his feud with Giant Gonzalez was kind of creepy.
And he toppled the untoppable. He toppled Hogan.
That's right. His first title match, his first chance at the title, period. He beats Hulk Hogan, of all people.
It was one of the first clean victories over Hogan that I'd ever seen.
Exit 133B. And then
Count me
0.2
down.
miles. So guys, as we do head towards, to quote Eddie, the Radio Ridge. Final thoughts on tonight, Rob?
Hands on the wheel.
Please. Okay, Rob gives us
That's
claps.
all. You just got claps. You just got claps.
That's all he's got.
Way to go, Rob. Just got your moment to shine, and you give him claps.
Wait, he gave him the clap?
Apparently, he gave him a clap.
Thoughts and opinions on one Rob haven't heard.
Stan gets a clap.
So,
because
for
crack's
the
swollen.
entire roster of MCW, you may want to go get some penicillin because you now have the clap.
You need to get checked. You gonna get your board punched. What?
Sorry, Rob. It's just your turn.
Brian, final thoughts?
I thought it was a pretty solid show. I
It was
enjoyed
a lot
it.
nicer when he
Hey,
was asleep.
grown-ups are talking. I thought it was a solid show. Hopefully, we'll
Where
get
do
to
you
go
live
back.
again?
It don't matter to me. Don't matter to me. So, again, solid. I enjoyed it. Hopefully, we'll go back. March 3rd, was that the next show?
Yeah, you
yes.
get the tickets early for the March show tonight. and then the April show and
with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So that could be a good card. I can't wait to see what the lineup is for that. I had a great time at tonight's show. First chance to really get familiar with MCW Pro, and it was a definite hit in my opinion. I am looking forward to going back. Not sure exactly which show it'll be.
You?
I asked me, Rob. You see, Rob, I hold the microphone, and when I hold the microphone, or not,
Usually when you hold the microphone, you're singing to it.
That's not the microphone.
And that's what he said.
The show
I did it my way.
That's what he said, Ron.
Call 0.
Folks, thanks again for listening and tuning in to our corner-to-corner shenanigans. We want to say a special shout-out to Phil Stamper and all of the talented folks over at MCW Pro. Thanks for an awesome show. We definitely had a blast. Can't wait to go back for the next one. We will talk to you tomorrow night on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network for Corner to Corner Live during the Royal Rumble. For Rob Hefner.
Yo!
For Brian Taylor.
Yes.
He asleep.
Catch us on Twitter at C2C Radio Show. STRCP21.
30 stories high.
At Rob Hefner and at Stan from
Pimp guy
Krypton.
with a cane.
Have a great night.
Oh,
And his
if you
little
hear me.
buddy, Godzuki.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Man.